So instead of starting at index 0, we're going to start at index 1. So we're going to do a quick example. First, let's start an array. So let's call it ARR as an example, and that's going to be an array type variable. And then what we do, just like I showed you previously with associate array, we're going to put 1, and then we're going to put this arrow equals and greater than symbol, and that will be first. Let's call it 1s. And next one, basically what we could do is we could put second. We don't have to keep associating. Automatically the array would know that the first one was 1, therefore that one must be 2. So we don't need to actually do this or keep on going. We don't have to do that unless we wanted to start with a different number. So we wanted a different index for the second element, and we could put the second element as 5. But for now, what we're going to do, we're going to get the array to count for itself. So that one's going to be 1, that's going to be 2 automatically, and it will increment by 1 automatically. And the third one could be third, like that. So I'm going to stop at number 3. I'll close the array. So now we have 3 elements, 1, 2 and 3. So element 0 is actually now element 1, and the indexing starts with 1 and now 2 and 3. So it makes it a lot easier for those who are not quite comfortable with starting at index 0. What we could do, we can use a for loop or for each loop. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the for loop for now, because I want to teach you about something else while we're doing this. I'm going to start the for at $I, which is the variable I, and we're starting at 0. Now there, I said start at 0, but yet we know that it starts at 1. So obviously we can't start at 0 this time. So we're going to have to put 1 this time round. Otherwise it's going to bring us an error, because there is no element 0 anymore in the array. So I'm going to say $I, which is 1 at the moment, is less than or equals to size of. So now that will give us the size of. That's another way of getting the array size. Last time I introduced you to a function called count. So we can use count to count the elements in the array, and then that will give us a size. Or we can use a different function called size of, and that gives us the size of the array in question. Now what we're going to do, we're going to increment I each time, just a typical for loop this time. Now what I want to do is I want to echo each element. So I'm going to do that now, and the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to write a little statement, position $I, I'm going to say element value, and then $array, well, the name of the array this time. And what I want to do is I want to put it within brackets. So these are the brackets to acquire value. So now what I'm going to do in the brackets, because I want it to do it automatically, so I want it to basically assign that value, that whatever in here, assign it in there, and it will keep incrementing. So that will be 1 the first time around, 2, 3 and so on. I'm going to do a line break in HTML. I'm going to close the brackets off and put the semicolon at the end, and now I'm going to close off that for loop code block here. So all it's going to do is going to do a one-liner. Now I could do this without actually having these things, because it's only one line, like I told you previously in the previous lessons. But if you want to just have the style of just always putting curly brace, you could do that. But for now, just to make it a little shorter, I'm going to put it without the curly braces. So what would happen here now is it will say position I, so position 1, element value, and then it will say array I, so it should print out first. And then it will go around and it says position 2, and it should say here second value is that. So it's a very simple program. I hope that was easy to follow. If you've got any questions, please leave a comment below or subscribe to the channel for future videos.